Good afternoon and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. It's nice to have you join us on the special day of Arafat. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. In line with advisory from the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs and the Presidential Task Force, PTF, on COVID-19, President Muhammadu Buhari will observe the Eid al-Kabir prayers with his family at home, just as he did during the Eid al-Fitr. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari wishes all Muslims a safe and happy Eid and reiterates the protocols as issued by the PTF that large gatherings should be discouraged, and where small groups choose to hold the Eid together, physical distancing as well as use of face masks should be prioritized. The President also advised that such prayers shouldn't hold outdoors. The President, the statement reveals, will not be receiving Salah homages by religious community, party and government leaders, and urges all citizens to observe the occasion as advised by state and local authorities. Meanwhile, the tradition during the annual Eid al-Kabir celebration is for Muslims to converge on one central Eid ground in every community to offer the 2 rak'ah prayer. However, due to the COVID-19, Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III, brought together district heads to stress the need for Muslims to abide by safety measures and observe the Eid prayer at Jummah Mosque to curb the spread of the pandemic during the festivity. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila tells us more.
The meeting was an avenue for the traditional rulers to update the Sultanate Council on happenings in their respective districts. Sultan Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar noted that the decision to conduct Eid al-Adha prayers in Jum'at mosques was informed by the need to curb the spread of COVID-19 across the state. He said even though Sokoto State has been without any case of COVID-19 for about 3 weeks, recently a foreign national was confirmed with the disease. This, the Sultan said, necessitates the need for more efforts in curtailing the spread of the disease. On insecurity in some districts, the Sultan charged the district heads to always report happenings within their domains. Meanwhile, the Sultan has presented cash grants for the purchase of sacrificial animals for the orphans to the 86 districts of the state. While appreciating the gesture by the government through the Zakat Commission, Sultan Muhammad Sa'ad emphasized on judicious distribution of the meat to the orphans. Chairman Zakat and Endowment Commission, Muhammad Lawal Maiduki, informed the Sultan that the Commission has come up with various programs aimed at helping the needy, aged orphans and widows. The annual distribution of the sacrificial animal is to put smiles on the faces of the orphans. The brief ceremony featured question and answer session. In Sokoto, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
And back in Abuja, all is now set for the observance of the Eid al-Adha 2 rak'ah prayer tomorrow at the National Mosque, Abuja. The Eid prayer, which is usually observed at the National Eid ground, was moved to the National Mosque in adherence to the COVID-19 protocols. Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu brings a situation report.
It is 11:30 Thursday morning on the 9th of Zulhijjah 1441 after the Hijrah, equivalent to 30th July 2020, here at the National Eid Ground in Abuja. Usually on a day like this, the management committee of this field will be in a race with time by now with the intent to put final touches to the place and have it ready for tomorrow's 2 rak'ah Eid prayer. But the coronavirus would not have it. However, there is respite for worshippers, especially with the Sultan of Sokoto and President General, Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, directing Muslim faithful to observe the 2 rak'ah prayer at Jummah Mosque in their communities. The National Mosque is blazing the trail in adherence to this directive, and management has gone a step further to say that the open space will be available for use by worshippers to allow for social distancing, with the exception of the indoor hall. Dr. Kabir Adam is one of the imams of the National Mosque. Yeah, Imam, what is the level of preparation for the Eid prayer tomorrow?
Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you can see the place is quite ready for it. You know, we abide by the directives of the federal government concerning the social distancing and to avoid gathering people in a place where this social distancing will be very, very difficult. So that is why we are not doing the Eid ground at the normal Eid ground along the airport road. We come back here to the National Mosque premises, and this is where we are going to do it. And inshallah, all the protocols of NCDC will be observed, inshallah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Well, you've heard it from him. The Eid prayer here tomorrow is going to be observed strictly on social distancing and other protocols as advised by the health officials. Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Thanks, Ilyasu. And a report just in says President Muhammadu Buhari has called on Nigerians to continue to exercise patience and understanding over the inconveniences created by precautionary measures taken to contain COVID-19, especially the regulations on places of worship. And his solemn message to Muslims on the occasion, President Buhari says the outcome of the coronavirus had made it difficult for people to gather in places of worship as they are used to, urging worshippers to abide by the guidelines for safety of their lives and loved ones. President Buhari commended the sacrifices of Muslims and Christians in abiding by the COVID-19 guidelines for the good of society, assuring that the administration will continue to provide economic reliefs to the people. The president reminded worshippers that COVID-19 is a worldwide affliction, with churches and mosques closed around the world, while social distancing has been imposed to safeguard public health. The president called on worshippers, however, not to forget the symbolic significance of the sacrifices of the Eid al-Kabir. He also reminded Nigerians of his efforts to root out corruption in the country, stating that the efforts had so far brought a lot of changes in the country's polity. He appealed for more support and understanding as investigations are carried out on both legacy and fresh cases. And Michael is on standby in our Lagos Network Center. Michael, a few hours to the Eid al-Kabir celebration. What is it like today in Lagos?
Thank you, Awal. The atmosphere here is that of peace and happiness for the celebration. Hours to Eid al-Kabir celebration, Lagosians' patronage for rams and other alternative animals for the festival of sacrifice is on the downside, and the Danos reports.
Many streets of Lagos now have temporary ram markets. The availability is for the convenience of would-be buyers who need the ruminants to complete the Eid celebration. However, unlike previous years, the rams are not in high demand, which reflects in the supply.
A day to Salah like this, like last year, everywhere here that's finished. We have sell everything finished.
A corona collapse anything. 1 year ago, it is notified 45 to 50. One can notify 70,000. And then we advise for our people to maintain how corona is and chop a small thing.
The Ijora Ram market, which usually is a beehive during festive seasons, projects a contrast. Transactions were slow, making the eve of the big Salah seem like an ordinary day. Interestingly, the rams are not really expensive, and the few buyers say they are making choices based on their ability to pay.
Now, is they easy, small, because no cost too much because of the corona. Because now, tomorrow is the Salah. They will live here.
They say it's 150,000 last, 150,000 naira. I think it's okay now. Yeah, it's okay. So compared to last year, like this now last year, I think it sold for 120,000, 100,000 naira. But this year now, I say it's 150.
The traders attribute the sluggish tempo of business to the coronavirus pandemic. The fall in demand for the ram, the stress, is why the animals are currently sold with marginal profit in mind.
People see the ram remaining, still never sell them because people don't have money.
If you see somebody who go buy 40,000 naira, I go put sell them because I know like to carry them go house.
While Muslims look forward to a very joyous and wonderful Eid-el-Kabir festival or celebration, they are advised to please cut their coats according to their clothes. Eid-el-Kabir will come and go. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Still on preparations for Eid-el-Kabir celebration. Unlike other days this week, the roads in Lagos are devoid of the usual traffic that has characterized movement within the metropolis. Dr. Oguyemi, who monitored the situation, reports that the police have strategies in place to ensure a hitch-free Eid-el-Kabir celebration.
It is a public holiday, and the roads are a clear reflection of this. Fewer cars are on the roads as Muslim faithful are celebrating at home due to the ban on religious gatherings and relaxation centers as a means of curbing the spread of COVID-19.
So many people are at home, maybe doing one thing or another, but on working days, you know, people come out for their businesses and go to work.
Like weekdays work, when there's work, there's always traffic. But today the road was kind of free.
I just came back from an inspection of all the alternative routes now. I know we are having major problems around the stadium and the Costain axis. The traffic is heavy, quite heavy, but it's moving gradually.
And while residents are forced to celebrate at home, the police are out to ensure that lives and property are well protected during the festivities.
We are not on holidays. So you realize that just about 72 hours ago now, so we have the Tomiland Bridge now, we have been on. So that one shall continue. So we deploy more than enough personnel. Even yesterday, we have to add more to the personnel after reviewing it after 48 hours. So with this one now, we employ every member of the public now to go about their level celebration, and the police is out to protect their life and property.
It's been a well-planned out strategy to meet up with the challenges of the high traffic volume that we are going to encounter this festive period.
The Lagos State government has also urged residents to be modest in their celebrations and continue to observe prescribed protocol towards defeating COVID-19. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
Still staying with security, with the steady reopening of several sectors of the economy, the Nigerian police force has redoubled its combat readiness to tackle all forms of criminality. This stance was re-echoed when 651 recently elevated officers in Lagos were decorated into designated ranks at the police headquarters. Imole Ayotokede has the details.
Lagos State, with an estimated population of more than 22 million people, inevitably has a rising crime rate, especially during festive period. This promotion is therefore viewed by the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Akim Odimosu, as a call for more proactiveness to crime prevention by the 31 newly promoted officers of the command.
Shall now be judged by their actions and inactions. So we employ them, we advise them now to keep the flag flying and make sure that they don't do anything that will tarnish the image of Nigerian police force and the image of Nigerian country as a whole.
The command spokesperson, Bala Elkana, who has been promoted to the rank of a superintendent of police, renewed his commitment to serving the nation.
You know, the dream of every officer is to grow in that particular profession, and seeing myself moving up, not being static in the job, is something worth appreciating God for.
A visibly elated Olaide Olabode moves from being an inspector to an assistant superintendent of police.
Being a senior officer now, I know I'm charged with certain responsibilities. I know my responsibilities are more and greater, and I'm going to try my best.
The officers pledged to uphold the ethics that govern the force with utmost credibility and undying commitment. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokide, NTA News.
Time now for some messages. The news continues with Howell in Abuja shortly after this break. Please stay tuned.
Corruption to ICPC on toll-free number 0800-2255-4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Thanks for rejoining us, and moving on, the trial of Prophet Abraham regarding the will of Allah and devotion to slaughter his son centuries ago set the stage for the spiritual and historical significance of the Feast of Sacrifice, also known as Eid al-Adha. From Lafia, Aliu Tijani Muhammad puts the conversation in context of the greater Eid significance in Zulhijjah, the last lunar month in the Islamic calendar.
Sacrifice is fundamental for the celebration of Eid al-Kabir. The celebration of the sacrifice is the culmination of pilgrimage as one of Islam's 5 pillars on the 9th of Zulhijjah. In the Holy Quran, a simple conversation between father and son, united in strong belief to the will of Allah, admonish humanity on devotion and sacrifice.
Submissive to the will of Allah. You must be submissive, just like Ismail was so submissive to his father.
These are lessons Aliu Tanku and others we came across at the Lafia Ram market say will remain evergreen.
And it teaches us how to love ourselves and love our brothers and sisters.
Has to do with sacrifice in order to seek for Allah's forgiveness. By living in harmony, by bringing one another together so that we can all live peacefully in the country.
Similarly, Eid prayer in open grounds like this in Lafia may not hold, as the faithful are expected to converge on mosque for the spiritual exercise.
People must be on their face mask, observe physical or social distancing, observe all the protocols associated with COVID-19.
Eid al-Kabir for spiritual benefit in the life of this world and hereafter. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani Muhammad, NTA News.
And a few hours to the Eid al-Kabir, prices of rams have skyrocketed in markets in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri reports that some buyers are worried over the high cost of the sacrificial animal.
Eid al-Kabir is an annual Islamic festival mostly observed with the slaughtering of the sacrificial ram, symbolic as it confirms obedience and submission to the will of Allah. A visit to the ram market in Port Harcourt shows that the price of ram has skyrocketed, selling between 50 to 75,000 naira each.
This year is higher than last year. The issue of COVID-19 and closure of the border. If not about last 2 months, the federal government opened the border because most of these ram and goats, they are imported from Niger. So when they hear that they have lift ban on the border, so they carry it enter Nigeria. So with high price.
Last year better than this year. Matter of coronavirus, no money. Things are expensive. They're coming small, although I don't blame them because of coronavirus.
Some buyers express dissatisfaction with the high cost of ram.
So we are trying to price. So we have seen the one that we like, but the price given to us is not that okay for now. So but we are still arguing it.
Others attributed the situation to the prevailing economic reality in the country. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Different strokes, you may say, as we hear in a funny twist, ram sellers in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, are worried over low patronage by customers few hours to the Eid celebration. Simbiat Agbaji has that.
This is the North Bank Ram Market in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Before now, this ram here was sold for 120,000 naira, but today it is sold at 90,000 naira.
Initially, the price will put the price high, thinking people, the patronage will be high. But for now, people are not coming, so at the end, the price will drop.
Most sellers at the ram market were seen idle as they have very few customers to attend to. They lamented over the low turnout, which they attribute to lack of resources.
Because nothing there for the market. You man will say you just full of ram, but no buyers.
Matter of this COVID-19, there is no much customers that are coming in to buy because there is no money in the town.
The buyers on their part say though it is not relatively cheap, it is affordable.
I came here therefore yesterday, I bought about 6 of the rams. I went to book and sold, still came back today.
The people are, however, thankful to Allah that they will be witnessing this year's Eid-el-Kabir celebrations. In Makurdi, Simbiat Agbaji, NTA News.
Abubakar, all set for Eid, I guess, tomorrow. What's new in Maiduguri? Good afternoon to you.
That's true, Hawa. Here is the latest. Preparations are in top gear, both on the side of security operatives and residents of Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, ahead of the anticipated Eid al-Kabir celebration, less than 20 hours away. Jadwa John Jesney has an update.
It is a day for last-minute shopping for residents of Maiduguri in preparation for the long-awaited Salah celebration. Despite the heavy downpour in the early hours of the day, residents trooped into the business communities to make last-minute purchases without hindrance. Preparations on the side of security operatives have been made manifest as they carried out a show of force across the metropolis with deployment of personnel to most strategic locations. The Borno State Police Command and sister security agencies say all necessary modalities have been put in place to ensure a hitch-free festivity, calling on residents to play their part to achieve success.
The command is fully prepared and ever ready to deal with any situation. People are advised to go to the praying grounds with their face masks and to observe social distance and other safety measures.
We are going to send our men, both regular and special marshal, to ensure that they are there to control the traffic and to ensure that the people observe the COVID-19 protocols.
Designated Eid grounds across the metropolis also are wearing new looks with tents and security personnel mounted at strategic points to ensure safety of worshippers during the prayers. Maiduguri remains calm and peaceful with the hustle and bustle from the anxiety created as the Muslim community prepare in earnest for the feast of sacrifice. In Maiduguri, Jadwa John Jesney, NTA News.
Less than 24 hours to Eid al-Kabir celebration, most streets in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, have become satellite ram markets. However, Memuna Garba reports that though there is availability of ram in the markets visited, sellers complained of low patronage.
Demand for sacrificial ram is essential, especially now that Eid al-Kabir festival is few hours away, hence the influx of rams into the state capital. Satellite ram markets have sprung up in mosque streets and major routes across the city, as the main road in Kasuan Shanu area leading to the main cattle market is beehive of activities and congested with satellite ram markets, an indication of the ram availability this year. NTA News investigation reveals a ram goes for as low as 15,000 naira and as high as 150,000 naira, depending on the buyer's purchasing power. Some ram sellers attributed the ram availability this year to supply of the livestock from some local government areas in northern Borno, but complained of low patronage. Some buyers, on the other hand, complained hike in the prices of ram this year despite the availability.
Price of this year is higher than last year, because last year I bought the ram like 32,000, but this year I bought it almost 41,000.
Up to now, I didn't choose my own because the price has gone high. So I don't know, I can fit to buy it or I can just go.
The sacrifice of an animal during Eid al-Kabir is compulsory on Muslims that can afford. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Those are the latest stories from Maiduguri. Let's now return to Hawa in Abuja for more news. Compliments of the season to you in advance.
Thank you very much, Abubakar. And we are not done with Salah preparations, as it is the second day of the reopening of the train services at the Abuja-Kaduna Railway, and Oluseye Adeagbo has been following events at the Idu train station as people take advantage of the Salah festivity to travel. Sheye, it's over to you. He was at the station earlier today.
All right, studio, thank you. At about 7, we say the first trip to Rigasa, right from Idu train station, departing. About straight to our observation when we arrived at the station is the fact that the adherence to COVID-19 protocols still intact. Security operatives and staff of the NRC were also on ground to ensure compliance. The passengers were not only approaching the station with their face masks on, many of them are also with their personal sanitizers. But the issue of concern while interacting with some of the passengers is the increase in fare. Though some actually welcome it, a large number of the people actually said this is coming not at the right time.
To me, I think it's not fair for passengers to pay double on what they are supposed to be paying.
But I think with the increase, we are going to have some sanity.
It's also important for us to know that pre-COVID-19, the lane actually runs 8 trips per day. But at the period of the lockdown, 8 coaches and 2 locomotives were added to the station. While test running these other coaches and locomotives, the big news was that there will be increase in the number of trips from 8 to 14. But we did not see that happen yesterday. I was first thinking it was due to the fact that it is just first day of resumption. Today we've observed that it's still the same 4 trips that they will be running, though the manager confirms to me that they are expecting to have some changes to this tomorrow, but that will be a matter of time. Well, for the operators and the passengers, the optimism is that this orderliness and adherence to COVID-19 protocols will be a thing that will last for a long time.
Many thanks to you, Sheye. And Asabe Tanimu Williams was at some motor parks earlier today in Abuja.
At this unprecedented time is a risky venture many travelers are faced with. But at the same time, it's the Salah holidays, a milestone in the Islamic calendar, prompting many to seize the moment and head home to reunite with loved ones.
So far, they've set up protocols. I think the last time I traveled, it was on a different vehicle. Actually, we were just 3, and they had to, should I call it fumigation?
Transportation is instead of 2,000 is 2,500 to Lokoja.
So we have no option.
In their numbers, the troops to motor parks where transporters are smiling to the banks after the new transport guidelines brought them a windfall as they convey lesser passengers for even a higher fee.
Our advice is for people to stay where they are and celebrate their Eid al-Kabir. But if it is necessary that you have to travel, then you have to plan your journey.
Are the drivers themselves safety conscious?
The FCC came here. Our headquarters also tell us that we must be in line with the directive of COVID-19. And that's what we are following.
Apparently, the motor park authorities are leaving nothing to chance as they are seen fumigating commuters and their vehicles before takeoff. Asabetanim Williams, NTA News.
And towards effective control of spread of coronavirus in the country, during this year's Salah celebration, the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Dr. Boboye Oyeyemi, has urged Muslims to adhere to the health and safety regulations as provided for by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. Oyeyemi, in a statement by the Assistant Corps Marshal in charge of Corps Public Education, BISI Kazim, says the celebration is centered on the need for obedience to God and for people to always show discipline and sacrifice. He enjoined motorists to particularly imbibe the message by using the road with caution through obedience to traffic rules and regulations, reminding them of the PTF's directive that vehicles must carry only 50% of their passenger capacity as adequate personnel are on ground to ensure compliance. And still on security, as part of efforts to ensure a crime-free Eid al-Kabir celebration in the country, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has directed all commissioners of police and assistant inspectors general of police in the 17 zonal commands to intensify confidence-building patrols in all areas of the country, particularly on major highways and around critical national infrastructure. In a statement, the IGP assured Nigerians of adequate security and congratulates the Muslim faithful in the country as they join other Muslims across the world to celebrate this year's Eid al-Kabir. In addition, the IGP calls for voluntary compliance with the ban on all mass socio-religious gatherings and other prevention orders directed at protecting citizens and checking further spread of the COVID-19 in the country. He enjoins citizens to cooperate with the police, noting that the measures have become imperative due to the rise in cases of COVID-19. For Nigeria to retain its pride of place within the African continent, sincere collaborative effort is needed in winning the war against insecurity, corruption and other social vices confronting the nation. Reverend Samson Ade Ayokunle, president of CAN, made this assertion during a visit to the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission in Abuja. Over now to Elizabeth Omori.
At a time when the nation is grappling with the coronavirus pandemic and a hydra-headed security challenge, social problems like rape and drug abuse have further compounded the efforts to put the society on an even keel. Religious leaders are worried about the spate of insecurity in some parts of the country. They are, however, seeking God's intervention to overcome the challenges hampering peace.
The security agents must sit up, and the government must change their tactic.
Reverend Yakubu Pam, who recently assumed office as Executive Secretary, Nigeria Christian Pilgrim Commission, believes effective engagement of traditional institutions will go a long way in curbing crime in society.
We must start with attitude change for our country, and I believe it shall be well with us.
Their religious leaders urged Nigerians to support the government in harnessing the huge potential evident in the non-oil sector. This, they say, will facilitate economic growth and job creation, which could engage the idle hands currently used to foment unrest and terror. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
And it's now the turn of Ogochukuka in Benin with more reports. Hello.
Well, thank you for joining us. The cost of ram is not an issue to Muslim faithful in Benin metropolis as they get set to celebrate Eid al-Kabir. Adubejojegba reports on the level of preparedness from the ram markets in the city.
Muslim faithful were seen in last-minute rush to make the celebration a memorable one. A visit to the popular markets where rams are sold reveals high patronage, unlike the last celebration.
Eid al-Kabir is the biggest celebration celebrated by Muslim faithful at the ram market, and I have here with me Aliyu Awelu, who is going to tell us how it has been trying to get one of these animals for the celebration.
No ram is less than 30,000 naira. But we thank Almighty Allah who spend our life to this celebration.
So have you been able to buy one today?
Yes. The one I bought a ram of 50,000 naira. It's big. Inshallah.
The chief imam of Benin, Sheikh Abdul Fattah Inabulele, says the celebration will involve observing NCDC COVID-19 protocols to mitigate the spread of the virus.
We feel because of the congregation, the largeness of the congregation, the spacious place will be better so that people can observe their physical distancing and wearing their face masks.
It honors the willingness of Ibrahim to sacrifice his son Ishmael as an act of obedience to God. In Benin, Adogbeji Ojegba, NTA News.
And now to political matters. Campaigns are in top gear towards the September 19 governorship election in Edo State. The candidates and party leaders are interfacing with supporters through every means available.
The APC candidate, Pastor Sageze Yamu, has been meeting with more former public office holders and political appointees who say they have resolved to remain with the party. They include some local government vice chairmen, councillors, supervisors, special advisors, and senior special advisors who resigned their appointments with the state government. Others are youths under the aegis of Edo Patriotic Youth Movement and Edo Youth Solidarity Movement who promised to mobilize more youths for the APC. Former chairman of the State Post-Primary Education Board, Gabriel Oyibo, and a member, Osawe Osayenwere, also say their decision is based on their commitment to the APC, upon which platform they were given appointments, as well as their belief that the APC candidate will bring development to the education sector. The candidate, his running mates, and immediate past national chairman of the party promised them employment, wealth creation, and socio-empowerment schemes.
One pastor, one cause. One entire cabinet, one cause. Every one of us, one cause. Millions of Harina cannot change that.
We are assuring you, we go treat you like human beings. We go treat you now like family.
In the meantime, wife of Edo State Governor Betsy Obaseki has met with the PDP Women Wing Campaign Council along PDP Board of Trustees members, former Senator Professor Stella Omu, and former Minister of Women Affairs Iyom Josephine Aneni. They say Governor Obaseki is a treasure and must be preserved at all costs and want women to brace up politically.
I'm interested in let politics giving us the desirable results in society. People play politics for their personal gain. They think only of their stomachs, only of themselves. The decent and patriotic ones are more in number.
They give all the money in this world because God has designed this victory of Obaseki. So I want to appeal to all of us here. We know we all love money. Integrity pays.
Other sub-units of the PDP Women Wing Campaign Council include the senatorial, local government, ward, and unit levels.
And as from here, the news continues after this break. Please stay.
We have observed the lockdown. We have practiced the measures in order to curb the spread of the virus, but we can do better. The coronavirus spread is increasing daily, and only together can we cut down the numbers and defeat the spread of the virus. Remember, COVID-19 is not a death sentence, and a recovered patient cannot spread the disease. Do not stigmatize. Do not hesitate to report any case, or if you have come in contact with anybody that has been infected with COVID-19. If you have cough and fever, please stay at home and call your state hotline. Find state numbers at www.covid19.ncdc.gov.ng. Remember, it is for your own good and for the good of every Nigerian. Let us do better and defeat the virus. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's still nationwide. As the war against human trafficking, modern slavery and child labor toughens, critical stakeholders are recommending stiffer laws to curb the heinous acts as perpetrators are taking advantage of the impact of COVID-19 through the internet to lure vulnerable women and girls. This was a focal point during a webinar by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, in commemoration of the 2020 World Day Against Human Trafficking.
Identify victims of social exploitation and ensure that victims are protected and have access to social benefits and health care.
Naming and shaming the perpetrators complements ongoing campaign strategies aimed at ensuring that victims are not subjected to stigmatization or further trauma.
The 2020 event, which had participants from across the globe, has its theme focused on responders to human trafficking, which include frontliners who identify, support and seek justice for victims of trafficking and challenge the impunity of traffickers. The Kogi State Commissioner of Police, Ede Ayuba, has ordered a full-scale investigation into the gruesome killing of 14 people in Abuja community in Kogi local government. Solomon Ayede reports that the command has similarly dispatched a special squad on manhunt for the perpetrators of the act.
Highway robbery, banditry and kidnapping on the Okene and Lokoja roads leading to Abuja, as well as other violent criminal activities in rural communities recently in Kogi State, have become very worrisome, with the latest in Agbodu community, a suburb in Kotonkarfe, by unknown gunmen.
Yes, 14 people were killed, and about 6 others were fatally injured, 13 are one family. Already we have mapped out our own operation order. Everybody has been allocated his own beat, and we are going to make sure that we follow the operation order to the letter, and that no person will be allowed to allow his own area to be used as the venue for kidnapping or for robbery.
Meanwhile, Kogi State Police Command has paraded 23 suspected criminals arrested in some parts of the state for criminal offenses such as kidnapping, armed robbery, illegal possession of firearms, cattle rustling, impersonation, cars and motorcycle snatching, and act of rituals with possession of human skull. All the suspects are to be arraigned in court for prosecution on completion of investigation. Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
Still on security matters, some agrarian communities in Nigeria will experience better monitoring and patrol by men of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. The provision of motorcycles is to turn the tide against criminal elements in these areas. Rabi Aliu reports.
We are determined to guarantee food security in Nigeria.
Tagged agro ranchers, the Corps has trained and equipped its personnel to combat crime in agrarian areas. The Commandant General believes the agro ranchers will be major game changers in ensuring food security.
The agro rangers will be able to go to the nook and crannies of the states and make sure that they perform their duty. Like in Borno today, agro rangers unit accompany the farmers to the farm every day, 6 a.m. they go to the farm with the farmers and close by 6 p.m. every day. And now most of the farmers in the liberated areas have gone back to their farms. So we are very serious about guaranteeing food security in Nigeria.
5,000 men and women of the Corps have been taken through various training and equipped with modern security strategies. The agro-rangers are expected to operate closely with farmers and establish communication channels in times of distress. In Abuja, Aliu Rabaliu, NTA News.
And it's now time to join Zuley in our Kaduna Network Center for more reports. Zuley?
Thank you, Hawa, and welcome to Kaduna. To sustain the tempo of the success recorded in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic, Jigawa State Government has cancelled all Salah festivities, just as it ordered strict compliance to safety protocols during tomorrow's Eid prayer. Muhammad Musa Askira brings us up to speed on Salah preparations in the state.
The cancellation of the Salah festivities came after stakeholders meeting that include medical, traditional and religious leaders in the state. The consultative meeting, chaired by Governor Muhammadu Badru Abubakar behind closed doors, sought to adopt measures similar to the ones observed during the Eid al-Fitr prayer performed 2 months ago. Part of the measures include the exemption of women, children and aged persons from attending the prayer on grounds of their vulnerability to COVID-19 and tendency to breach safety guidelines as said by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control.
We agreed to adopt the same protocols that we adopted during Eid al-Fitr, and which means that the prayers will be conducted between 8 and 9 a.m. on Friday morning, and then there will be social distancing. Aside that, also people will be mandated to wear face masks. And aside that, also there is not going to be Salah festivities.
Meanwhile, prices of livestock have skyrocketed at Shuarin and Laraba weekly market in Dutse as residents engage in the last-minute shopping for sacrificial animals ahead of the feast of sacrifice.
We were able to buy one, which is the one you can see right here, at the price of 155,000.
Though the lockdown were lifted with 0 new cases of COVID-19 in the state presently, experts are of the view that the prayer should be performed in line with the NCDC protocol to avoid situation capable of drawing the hands of a clock backward with respect to fight against coronavirus pandemic in the state. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps in Kaduna State is set to deploy unmanned aerial surveillance technology in the management of traffic, especially during the Eid celebration. This is made possible through the support of the state government. Abdullahi Muhammad reports.
This drone, flying over traffic gridlock at Kawo, Kaduna, is capable of covering at least 8 kilometers in each surgeon. And this means that the officers and men of the Federal Road Safety Corps will not have to maneuver through traffic gridlock to get to bottlenecks on the highway using this technology.
That means if there is a problem, maybe a vehicle that is blocking the road ahead, the drone will show us on the camera where we are. And then it is left for us to plan an intervention or a countermeasure that will solve that problem. It's either we take people there. For instance, if it's a vehicle that is broken down and we don't know, the drone has shown us, it is now to arrange for a tow truck that will go and remove that vehicle. If there is an accident, what are we to do? We have to send an ambulance to that place to go and help the accident victims.
Commuters plying the Kaduna-Kano highway, especially during festive period, usually experience gridlock caused by accidents and broken down vehicles. The deployment of these technologies, therefore, expected to serve as a relief to the traffic managers and commuters. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
And it's back to Hawaii in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Now to the latest on COVID-19. The NCDC has confirmed 404 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The new cases recorded from 20 states indicate that Lagos again has the highest number of new infections, with 106 new cases, followed by the Federal Capital Territory with 54. Rivers has 48 new cases, Plateau 40, Edo 29, Enugu 21, Oyo 20, while Kano has 18 new cases. Other states include Ondo with 15 new cases, Ogun 10, Ebonyi 9, Ekiti 8, Kaduna with 6, Cross River 5, Kwara 4, 3 for each of neighboring Anambra and Delta, 2 each for Imo and Nasarawa, with Borno having 1 new case. Nigeria now has 42,208 confirmed cases, out of which 19,004 have been successfully treated and discharged, while 873 unfortunately died of the virus. Sports now. Nigerians urge Arsenal Bukayo Saka to choose Super Eagles ahead of 3 Lions. Bade Adile tells us more on Sports Update.
Despite Nigeria Football Federation's insistence that the Football House will not beg Arsenal striker Bukayo Saka to play for the Super Eagles, football-loving Nigerians say the decision to don Nigerians' jersey should not be left to the 18-year-old alone, urging the NFF to go after him.
I think in the end, Nigeria is going to get him. If we don't get him, that means we did not make enough effort. I think Bukayo Saka is either he's been influenced by his parents, or it's just a personal decision looking at where he's going to eventually get more playing time.
Saka, who was born in London to Nigerian parents, is still eligible to play for the Super Eagles despite representing England at junior levels. In basketball, all eyes will be on Toronto Raptors, who are bidding to successfully defend the NBA title as the 2019-2020 season restarts. Raptors' first game against Los Angeles Lakers looks like a daunting task, but analysts say Masai Ujiri's team are up to the task.
Masai still has a bit of his personnel still around him. Well, we still have Sejibuka, and he still has those mixtures of European players who actually made them to win the league. But one thing I must say, it'll be a tight one.
In other news, top-ranked women's tennis player Ashley Barty has announced she will not be playing in either the Western or Southern Open or the US Open due to coronavirus concerns. The Australian believes there are still significant risks involved playing at the tournaments, and she will not be putting her team in a difficult position. The 2020 US Open main draw begins on August 31. With Sports Update, I'm Bade Adeleye.
And on a sad note, the Osun State government has announced the death of elder statesman, respected politician, and national leader of the Afenifere group, Pa Ayorinde Fasanmi, who passed on at the age of 94. His passing was confirmed by his first son, Justice Obafemi Fasanmi, on behalf of the family. A statement by the State Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Funke Egbemodi, described Pa Fasanmi as an epitome of humility, selflessness, and integrity, who made remarkable contributions to his profession, the socio-political development of Yoruba land, and the nation at large. Pa Fasanmi, who was one-time president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, also served on the board of the Old Western Nigeria Housing Corporation. He was also in the House of Representatives and the Senate at different times. Pa Fasanmi was also a member of the Constitutional Conference of 1994. Meanwhile, former interim national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Chief BISI AKANDE, has described the passing of Pa Fasanmi as a great loss to the Yoruba race and the nation, whose contributions to democracy and good governance in the country would be missed. President Muhammadu Buhari sends his heartfelt condolences to the family of former Minister of Science and Technology, Major General Sam MOMAH. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari believes the former administrator, engineer and officer who distinguished himself in academics and greatly improved the intellectual capacity of the military, lived a memorable life, serving the country and humanity with all his God-given gifts. President Buhari urges family members, friends and associates to find solace in the huge investments of Major General MOMAH in the people and institutions. He also prays for the repose of the soul of the departed. And that's Nationwide today. We thank you for watching. To the Muslim Ummah, we say Eid Mubarak. Do not forget to observe all the safety protocols, as it is our collective responsibility to ensure everyone is safe. Good evening. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama.